Hello, my name is Monty Holland, and I'm going to talk to you all about the Tayion Collection, where it came from, a little bit about me, what we're doing currently, and what we plan to do in the not so far off future. In fact, we're going to be doing some things that are very exciting in the early part of 2014. So let's get started.
Can you keep a secret? Can you keep a secret? 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 Secret?
Can you keep a secret? The Taeyeon Collection's at DK just in time for Father's Day.
This is Monty Holland, better known as Taeyeon.
This is David Ross, President of Van Dyke. This is big news. Announcing the arrival of the all-new Taeyeon suit collection, designed by Detroit's own Monty Taeyeon Holland. Monty Taeyeon Holland.
Hey Detroit, what's going on? This is Monty Holland, also known as Taeyeon. My name is Monty Taeyeon Holland. I am the owner of the Taeyeon Collection. I am born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. I attended public schools here in Detroit. I went to Frank Cody High School, proud graduate of 1986, and I've always known that I wanted to be a clothing designer. Had no idea how I was going to achieve that goal, but I stuck to it and I pushed through, and here we are today. It all started when I joined the United States Marine Corps in 1987. I was making things for myself when I had the opportunity to go overseas to Okinawa, Tokyo, Korea, and in those places they had little shops along the roadside where you can make custom pieces for yourself for not very much money. Well, I would wear these suits and get a lot of feedback from the coaches and the people at the schools and people that I knew at other universities, and they would always say, well, how can I get those types of suits? Well, I began to use my resources overseas to make pieces for people that I knew on the college set. From there, it became a hobby. After undergraduate school, I went straight to graduate school, and the same type of thing happened. From there, I came home and I began teaching. My degrees are in education, both my undergraduate and graduate degrees are in education. So I came home, started teaching, didn't make very much money, but I was extremely well dressed in my suits that I had made while I was in the Marine Corps. After teaching, I went into pharmaceutical sales with a very large pharmaceutical company. I learned a lot more about business, started making a little bit more money, started making more custom things for myself here stateside, and then I said, well, let me see if I can turn my hobby into a business. So what I did was I took 15 to 20 suits from my closet and I went to the magic show. The Magic Show is the largest apparel trade show in the country, held in Las Vegas 2 times a year. I had 5 models who could fit my own personal suits. We had a makeshift flyer, front and back, and I had a 10 by 10 soft cloth booth with, maybe 15 suits in it. Well, from there, we didn't know how to price it, we didn't know how to source it, didn't know how we would make it if we did have pretty good orders. But in that 3-day show, we sold pretty close to $1 million, $800,000. Also at that show, we met a celebrity who happened to be there launching his line at the same time. This was 2003. He introduced me to the people who were licensing his line in exchange for me to help him bring his line up to what mine looked like. I agreed. I met those guys. They were extremely surprised that we were doing those types of numbers to the same accounts that he was selling around the country at a higher price point, and we decided to partner. I then was instructed to come back to the show 6 months later. We didn't deliver any of what we sold at that show because it would be too difficult to create the exact fabric that we showed it in. So 6 months later, I came back. He gave me about this much space in his booth, which held about 5 suits, 3 mannequins, and we sold the same accounts, but we sold a little over $1 million. Now that really raised some antennas because, number one, if you sell something to somebody and you don't deliver it, that can put a bad taste in their mouth. Well, these guys rewrote it, and they rewrote it even more aggressively. So that was the start to us actually having a real chance to get into the market. So we sold a pretty good number, and he actually brought those pieces to life. He made about 5,000 units, and not only did he sell those units, but the stores got them in and they sold those units at a very aggressive price point. I mean, they were selling Taeyons at $1,200, $1,300. And that allowed them to make a pretty good margin. They were extremely happy. Everybody's happy. They're happy. I'm happy. The licensees who I was working with, they were extremely happy. But the problem was they blew through it so fast that they didn't have any more. We didn't have any more, so we had to continue with that same model of making Taeyeon product with in-stock fabric so we can turn it around quickly. Because the traditional turnaround is about 6 months. You make samples, you sew samples, you then make the fabric, then you make the product, you ship the product on a boat, and so on. It takes about 6 months. But we had to turn it around in about a month and a half. We did that about 3 or 4 different times, and we created that buzz, kind of like when the kids line up outside of the stores when the new Jordans are going to hit. They just can't get enough, and they line up outside to get the new iPad, for instance. We had guys receiving their boxes, and before they could put them on the rack, they were handing them to customers. So that was great. Everybody's happy. Well, after about 1.5 years of doing it that way, I learned a little bit about the knockoff game. I started to see my suit in synthetic form for a lot less money because we were selling the higher end wools. Well, I then said to myself, maybe it's time for us to make a suit that looks just like my suit, but have a better price point. So we decided to do a diffusion line of Taeyeon, and that's where T-Fusion came from. Kind of a play on words, diffusion, T-Fusion with the letter T. So T-Fusion came out, and now I realize a whole different world. There's a lot more stores that are able to afford that lower price point than they can a higher price point, and that just opened the doors to a couple of thousand more stores. So now we have all these stores around the country that were buying it and selling it like crazy, and that also then brought to the table the larger big box stores. So we had the people like the Burlingtons of the world, the K&Gs of the world come to the front and say, listen, we want these lines. So that's when we started to sell those type of guys and sell larger quantities of product. I decided to go to Turkey because I had a couple of different things I wanted to accomplish. I was in the market for a new licensee, somebody to finance the product. I was in the market to try to expand my demographic and my distribution to other countries, so I wanted to find somebody who could maybe be my bridge to other countries. And I also wanted to see if I could penetrate the African market. But I didn't know that we would have the opportunity to actually set meetings up. Well, set meetings up, and within a day I was visiting factories. At those factories we had conversations. They realized that I was shipping pretty large quantities, 50,000 units or so per year, and it led me to goal number 1, finding a factory who was able to be my bridge to other countries, and I could be their bridge to the United States. From there that led to other conversations, and goal number 2 was obtained, someone who could license it, the actual factory, perfect situation. And then on the last day, goal number 3, I met somebody from Africa who was actually the equivalent of the MEDC here for South Africa. So it was the perfect trip.
And you're not only just talking about the suit, but you've traveled the world.
Yes.
And trying to make sure that this fabric matches, that texture. Let's talk a little bit about what goes into a suit, because a lot of men feel like, you know what, I can just go to one of these retail shops out here, buy a suit off the rack. What's the difference between doing that and a custom fit suit?
Well, that's the thing. We have all of the custom characteristics. However, this is ready to wear. Taeyeon suit is where the custom suit meets the ready to wear suit. And all of the things that you'll find in a custom suit, the higher end fabrics, the details, the top stitching, the nicer buttons, the fit. So what are we looking to do here in the very near future? All types of things. 2014, we're going to be exploring opportunities that's going to allow Taeyeon to be sold in Europe, Russia, the Middle East, as well as Africa. Once we secure a deal like that, that'll take Taeyeon to a global stage. And our hope is that Once we're a global stage, we can add other categories, and we can take this thing to heights that I don't believe very many people have ever seen in the fashion world. I truly believe that Taeyeon is meant to be an internationally known, globally recognized brand, and we're not going to stop until we achieve that goal. We're going to be adding outerwear, hosiery, shoes. We're exploring a brand new shirt licensee for not only suit shirts, but casual dress shirts as well. We currently have a tie licensee for both Taeyeon and T-Fusion that's shipping across the country, and we're going to get an international tie licensee as well. We're looking into doing a tour of not only a fashion show tour, but we're also looking into doing a tour that's going to have a different type of a spin to it. Maybe a fashion meets funny type of a tour that we're going to be coming to a city near you soon. We're also going to be partnering with several different award shows, different celebrities. We're going to be dressing a lot of different celebrities on red carpets. We're going to be dressing celebrities, high-profile celebrities that are going to be receiving some very large awards. So we're very excited about that. We're going to be doing a lot of different interviews in different places. In fact, we have some interviews for some major publications. We have some interviews with some major networks, as well as we're going to be traveling to different stores and doing trunk shows and doing events in different cities around the country, as well as abroad. So look for Taeyeon to do some large things and be coming to you very soon, to your city, maybe to a store that's near you. You'll be hearing about us, you'll be reading about us, as well as you can check us out on Facebook, you can check us out on Twitter, you can also find us on Instagram. The website is www.taeyeon.com, that's Tayon, Taeyeon.com, and from there you'll be able to find us on all the social media sites. We're very excited about our future. We're very excited about what we're doing. Taeyeon is here to stay. Failure is not an option. We look forward to seeing you. Look forward to coming to a town near you. So like I said, we're in Shanghai, and we're here to set our line apart from other lines. We do whatever it takes to be head and shoulders better than the other lines. We source all over the world, and we work extremely hard to bring our customers something that's a little bit different, something that makes him feel special in a Taeyeon garment. So as you look around, you see that we're in beautiful Shanghai. Everything is opulent, everything is beautiful, everything is grand, just like Taeyeon. So that's what we do.